All right. Welcome, everyone. I see some familiar faces, some old friends. Please get your video feed going. This is live on YouTube now. I'm just sharing a picture. Everybody can see this bridge from Dublin. Welcome, everyone.
Okay. Good evening, Samuel. How are you?
Is muted.
So we can't really hear you.
All right, let's get, sorry about that. So yeah, we need to get many things in place today.
How are you, Samuel?
I'm good, I'm good. How about yourself, Tamal?
Yeah, good.
Right. All right, so can you guys hear me now?
I think.
All right, so we are here for fundamentals of bio-nanotechnology. So this course is also live streamed on YouTube. We have a capacity of 100 people in Zoom. So if that goes overflow, you can join us on YouTube as well. So today is the first class. We will go over some policies. There are many students who are registered, and there are many friends and colleagues and students who are auditing. So if you are a LUMS student and you're registered, there are different requirements because that's a 3 credit course for you. But if you're auditing, there'll be a certificate which will issue from STEMatters, and there are different milestones for that. So let's get started and let's cover some of those things which are part of your syllabus, and then we'll get into some lecture from today. So this is me, Dr. Samir Iqbal, and we have Miss Maria Kaleem here with us as well. She is a teaching assistant from LUMS, and you must have already got her email. I copied her on my messages that I sent you. So she'll be helping us with the coordination of this course. We are not here to cover certain material or to go over certain material. What matters is if we can uncover some new information, if we can learn some things new, which in a collaborative way, we may want to learn from each other. We want to explore some new knowledge. So there will be structured activities, and then there are activities where I expect students to contribute. So again, we will be here to uncover some new knowledge, some new information. If all of you, if you can turn your videos on, that helps a lot. That gets me visual feedback of if things are working or not. All right, so the course focuses on 3 major goals. One is, what are the materials that we use for nanoscale devices? And what are those devices and systems that we talk about? And then we will specifically focus on bioapplication, especially for detection of biomolecules and for biosensing. To achieve that, we will discuss theory of devices, and what are the systems that we use to create, to measure, or to employ nanoscale systems, and especially for biomedical, biological, or medical applications. So if we take this a big picture and we translate into uh, objectives. So these are 5 major objects of this course. So we'll go over the basic concepts of nanotechnology, nanomaterials. What do we mean when we say nanotechnology? How do we fabricate those devices? So now when we talk about fabrication, there are 2 ways. Either we go top down or we come bottom up. So and that's a little bit discussion on that. It's a major module. We'll talk about what are the equipment and what are the techniques that we employ to do this, to create nanomaterials or do nanofabrication. And then we'll get into biosensors. We'll have a primer on biological systems. Basically, we'll to look at cells and some of the building blocks of cells which are important for sensing. And then specifically, we'll see what are the nanoscale or nanotechnology applications for biosensors. Again, I had requested you to turn your video on. This is something which you have to do. If you don't want to be here, then this does not give me a visual type of how things are going. So, all right. So what are the basic requirements of this course? We have stated we need a student need to have high school level physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. When we talk about some of the skills that you may have are calculus, differential equations, physics, organic and inorganic chemistry. When we progress in the course, you will see there will be some fundamental concepts that we will use to explore and understand. It's a very interdisciplinary course. We will use lots of things from electrical engineering. We will use things from mechanical, chemistry, biology, physics, materials. And we will learn about what is happening state of the art in the world, right? So of course, so when we talk about interdisciplinary research, then there are very few barriers left among disciplines. How we will coordinate the course, the class material. So of course, this is how we are doing. Lecture slides will be shared as a video. There'll be papers that we'll have to read, and I will assign those papers. Like we have one paper that I'm going to assign. Then there will be reports, write-ups, presentations, which will come from students. And there are 2 major activities for that. One is called KPR, one is called GRP. We'll talk about that very soon. And we will share things of interest. For LUMS students, you'll be using LMS. I understand there is a learning management system. Maria has access to that, and she can communicate with you guys and post things what they're reading. The students who are auditing the course, the what I call auditors for you, will be using Google Docs and Google Forms. So like we created a form for you to sign up for the course. So in the same way, we are setting up documents where we will share things and we'll share the link. So you can see what are all the things that are going on, what are the links for those uh, lectures that are recorded and lectures that I will ask students to go through. There will be micro lectures that I will post. There will be lectures from other faculty, other practitioners that I will ask you to go and go through. And those will be posted on those Google Docs. There is no textbook. I have not assigned any specific textbook because of the interdisciplinary nature of the course. A single textbook cannot cover all the things that we are going to do, but we will be using open access books. So like there is a link in Tech Open. So they have a lot of books that they have posted on their website. We have to be careful. Not all of the books may be of high quality, but there is material which is very common. So you will find a large collection of books that they have posted. For you to be actively and proactively contribute in this course, of course, we need to have working computer, printer, scanner, camera, microphone, and all the 9 yards. because the nature is such that when we assign something that you need to have access to all those equipment to be able to download, to be able to write, and to be able to submit those things. All right. So from those big level objectives, we have very specific milestones within each learning, each course objective. So they are, and don't get scared right now. This is something which, okay, of course, these are the target that I hope to uncover with you, and we will hopefully take care of all of these. I will break down course into 5 modules. So as you see on the right hand side, we are in module 1, right? Nanoscale properties, and go forth from there. Another thing that you guys might want to do as we go is you should be able to take screenshots, because at some instances I will ask you to take screenshot, like here, learning objectives or outcomes. You can take screenshot from you can go back in the YouTube video and take screenshot from there also. But what it does is, like, these things will help us keep track on where we are and where we are going. All right, questions? Many of you may not have done something, and I'm getting emails and messages from some students who are still asking how to get in. As far as I understand, all the emails that we had from your sign up form, we have used those to send the links to all the students. All right, so continuing on the learning outcomes, that's another 3 modules, module 3, 4, and 5, which again are the different parts of the course that we will do. And they map to that list that I showed you at the start. We have 14 weeks. So there is a tentative breakdown of how I intend to accomplish that. And there'll be 2 weeks on average, well, not on average, exactly that's my plan, is to spend 2 weeks on every module. And then we'll have a week where we will go over some basics of biological molecules. We'll employ lots of learning material from online sources. There'll be exam, you have to submit reports, and I'll talk about it soon, and then we'll talk about these as we progress in the course as well. There'll be research reports, will be document, and there will be presentations by teams. And we'll have a review week, and then we will conclude the course. But trust me, there'll be lots of work coming from your side as well. I can see all of you are on listening mode today. It's early morning in so many places, but there will be parts of the course where you'll have to record some things and share with the rest of the class, or you will have to present in the classroom. All right, questions? All right, let's continue. For the registered students, LUMS students, this is the breakdown of what are the expectations, what are different parts of the course that you will be graded on. There'll be this thing called KPR, Key Paper Review, and this is an assignment, we'll talk about it, where you will write 1-page kind of review about papers that you will pick. There'll be some homeworks, which will be not more than 1 page. Quizzes will pop up as we progress, and quizzes are common for the registered student and for the auditing students as well. Next page, I'll talk about auditors and how they can qualify for a certificate. Class participation for LUM students, of course, this is, and all these things will become part of that. In group research projects, you can see this, the most points are for that. This will be a teamwork, and we'll work together on identifying some of the problems. I'll share with you some examples from the past, and a final exam. For students who are expecting a certificate to audit after auditing this course, so there'll be quizzes. You'll have to take quizzes and pass them. So because I'll count 50% of that towards finding your percentage, and pass, no pass, 70% plus would be passed. And for auditing students also, there will be group research proposal expectation, larger teams. So you'll have to work with teams from different parts of the world who are here. And that's That's the beauty of this course, that we are hoping that we can have some discussion and dialogue across international borders and have people think about bio-nano in broader terms. And especially now, after seeing this, the COVID situation, we know that the medical situations are not constrained to one region or one country. So we have to think of these things. All right. You can raise hand, speak up if there is question. That would be something that will help everybody understand if something is not clear. All right, let's keep on going on different parts of the grading. So homeworks will be mostly from literature and whatever material we are currently doing. And when it's assigned, it will be due in about a week after assigned, and you'll have to turn in a PDF file. And for homeworks, we'll share the rubric at how we are going to grade it. So you will know what are the key points that you have to address in your homework. All right. Speaking of key paper review, that's a major portion of the course. That's 20%. So this is something where we would ask students to do a search on a specific topic related to bio-nano. And you'll have to identify a key paper that launched a particular maybe topic of research or explained some concept. It can be last century, 2 centuries ago, or something that explained a perplexing problem or a phenomena. So review papers will not qualify for this. So you cannot pick a review paper and write a review on that. So, right? So this has to be something which was original research. I have a question. How CP will be marked? Could you please share some details? CP, what is CP? Class participation. Okay, that's LMS. So that's something where interactions right now, whatever you are chatting is being shared. And we'll have more discussions as we go. You'll see that once we have KPRs or GRPs, there'll be expectation for every student to comment on that or to still have a question about. And we'll have a discussion board thing as well, where we would expect students to share the most difficult thing they encountered in a module or in a week. So that's where we'll have interactions between students. Now, class participation is only for LUMS students, for the registered students. So that's something which is, we can have a easy control on how to gauge that. All right? Hamza, did I clarify your question? I don't see Hamza. He's switched off his camera. All right. So continuing on key paper, I highly recommend you discuss topics with me or Maria, because I can tell you that if you come up with a paper which has 20 citations, it's not going to work. So citations, unfortunately, is one way how we can gauge the impact of a paper. And in all cases, this is going to be one page. You have to submit one page. I don't expect you to write 20 pages on nominating a paper which was 3 pages long. So it's going to be one page for all homeworks, for all submission, except group research proposal. You will be submitting one page. That includes your name block at the top, and that includes your citations and whatever you want to submit that. Beyond one page, we will not grade it. Right on second page, it will not be graded at all. And for key paper review, for some students, we will expect to have small recordings, maybe 5 minutes, where they talk about what is so special with some presentation with that. All right. So when we will grade your KPR, these will be the 5 key points that we will use to see what is the quality of your submission. We'll talk more about that later on. All right. So right now, just some ingredients of what to expect and what's coming up. Now, group research proposal, it's more like have some more deeper interaction between smaller groups and practice some critical thinking skills and communication skills as well. right? So we need scientists, we need good scientists, but we need scientists that can share, or those practitioners or engineers that can share those findings with the rest of the world. So that's a major part of how you uh, share that with us. So that's going to be a report and a presentation. Now that report will tell you exactly how many pages and what are the boundaries of how to do that, and for presentation as well. We'll talk about that. Now this can be, if you think about it, key paper review is something which is backward looking, where you find out something that had major impact. But GRP is supposed to be forward looking, that an issue that we have right now and how it can be solved. It can be an extension for what you might have studied in KPIA, but it has to be distinctly forward looking, right? And again, this course is Bio-Nano, so this has to be within the domains of biomems and Bio-Nano. And staff, me and Maria would be happy to discuss some ideas with you and to help you narrow it down, right? So for that also, we'll have 5 rubric points, and we'll talk about that later on when we get there. And here are just few examples, 3-4 examples of what some student did in past who did really well. So they wrote something about nanosilver particles in masks, right? Everybody's wearing masks now. They talked about graphene, using graphene against cancer. They talked about use of graphene in filters and as biodetectors. Some students did microfluidics for on-chip separation. Don't get scared with these names or these words. We will be exploring all these things together. So I'll be giving you enough fundamentals so you can build up on those things to understand what you want to ultimately propose. All right. So I have 3 monitors. So if you see me looking around, I'm basically looking at another monitor where I have all the videos, 5 videos out of how many? 20 of you. So anyway, this is something 24 of you and just 5 videos on. All right. So letter grades for LUMS, it's going to be a straight numbers. What you earn is what you get. You know, a lot of times we say when you get an A, you say, oh, I got an A. But when a student gets a C, they say, oh, professor gave me a C. No, there's nothing that professor is going to give you. Yes, professor is going to help you. That's why we are doing this. All right. So when a grade is posted or a grade is given, will make a Google Excel file for students, especially the auditors, with coding. So you will not be able to identify other people, but you will be given your own code, so you will know it's your code and what is the grade for that thing. All right. So you'll be able to see and match what grade you got in a specific assignment and what is recorded in the system. So you have to check and get back to us within a week, within 7 calendar days. Uh, sorry, two weeks, 14 calendar days to challenge any posted grade, right? And please do not wait till the end of the semester because everybody's busy at that time. All right. So far, Rudy, any questions on the grading policy and what are the expectations from you in this course? Grad student, undergrad. When we get to the GRP levels, we will do our best to match different levels of expertise, because in this room we have senior professors as well as young professors, and we have even undergrad students, and I'm happy to be helping you guys, teaming up together and thinking forward. And I tell you, your proposals, I would not be expert on that, but that's a goal. We all need to learn together and we'll be exploring some things. I may have probably a deeper insight to ask you pointing questions so we all can do better. But apart from that, trust me, this is going to be fun. This is going to be really exciting when we get to that part. All right. If you're done with grading, let's talk about some more things of how to behave. What are expectations on behavior? ethics, professionalism, and conduct. I haven't had too many problems with students with their professionalism, but there are, and especially in this situation, we have students from all over the world. And some things in different cultures are taken differently. I'm not saying right or wrong. All I'm saying is we would have a uniform policy here. And why do I do that? Not because I'm against you or I don't like you, but because I want to be fair with all of you. All right? So we all like to be dealt fairly. So we have to treat the three things which I want to discuss with you so we would be on the same page. Cheating, many variations of cheating. We'll see some of the examples. We know plagiarism, or we may not know plagiarism. We'll discuss that also. And collusion is something which is rarely cases. You are responsible to make sure none of that happens. If you are in doubt, please ask. If you are in doubt, please ask. If you are doing something and you're going to do something and you're not sure, talk to us. All right. And unfortunately, cheating we will not tolerate and will result in immediate F for LUMS students and will have to ban auditors, right? To be fair with everybody else. Now, plagiarism, yes, there will be a 0 grade for first occurrence and ultimately reduction of 1 grade in the final grade. You have to know that this is done to learn. We are here to learn. We are here to do some things that we did not know how to do yet, right? So tomorrow we should be able to do those new things. We'll talk about plagiarism soon. Collaboration is another thing which is different than collusion. You guys can hear me? Hamza, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hamza, Muaz, can you hear? All right, very good. Oh, there are two Hamzas, Muhammad Hamza Tahir and Hamza Khalid. Anyway, thank you for feedback. Let's go over some of the examples. Okay, give me some examples of issues related to, say, cheating. This is where you talk and I type. I told you, you guys will be helping me with this. Give me examples of cheating. I'm not saying you have done that, but we have seen people doing that, right? Wink, wink. Okay, give me examples of cheating.
So assignment copy paste.
Assignment, copy, paste. That would be plagiarism as well as cheating. But more precisely, copy, paste would be, all right, all right. Another one. Professor Tamal, you might have seen lots of examples of cheating. All right, give me more. Speaker, guys. Things that you have seen others doing. I'm not saying you have done that. Things that people do. You can type in chat if you don't want to talk. That's perfectly fine as well. All right.
So maybe asking someone else to do your assignments, like paying someone online or something.
All right. Yeah, that's a good one. So paying someone to do assignment. All right. Even if you ask somebody to do for free, is the same thing, right? You cannot ask somebody to do an assignment. All right. Tell me another. Tell me another. Cheating in exams. All right. So how do we cheat? That's. Give me examples. How do people cheat in exams? How do they cheat in exams? Booty? Yeah, that's a word in Pakistan, right? The small piece of paper. So slipping a cheat sheet. So there are many variations. There are many different variations. And trust me, we almost everything. For assignments, there are different flavors. You do it for somebody else, somebody asks somebody else to do, somebody pays somebody to do it, somebody may copy paste, somebody fabricate data. You know, in assignments, there may be places where we need to give a plot of maybe Ohm's law. You cannot fabricate. So these are examples of assignment. And exams, again, there are a long list of exams what people may do. So these are not acceptable. Now, let's talk about plagiarism. What is plagiarism? What do you understand when you hear the word plagiarism?
If you present someone else's work as your own.
All right. So presenting somebody else's work as own. Let's take a deeper look. So yeah, we build up on other people's work, right? So we cite other people's work. So citation is the important word. And there's another flavor to it. We cannot verbatim take text from other places. We cannot copy paste. We can reword. Like if I have to say this line that I got from this handbook, I put double quotes around it, and then I put a citation. So it has to be published material or website or any other place. Okay, if I publish a paper, I am the author, I'm the first author. Can I use that material and write it in my term paper and submit it?
No, sir.
Why not?
If you
I wrote
cite
it
it,
in the first.
Sir, plagiarism meaning is that, sir, to copy the published or unpublished material to make it's your own, sir. So it is
Yeah,
meaning
but
that,
I
sir.
was the one who published it to the start. That's what I'm saying. If I publish
Yeah,
a paper in a journal,
yeah, then you can, but you need to give the reference, sir.
hold on, Ahmed, I cannot. It's called self-plagiarism. I can do it in certain, I have to qualify and make sure I put the citation. And if I use verbatim, I still cannot use verbatim. That still have to be quoted. There's lots of discussion on that, but there is a word for it. It's called self-plagiarism. So we cannot do that also. So it's okay. We probably would not be going that far, but have to know that why we don't do this. And some other day we'll discuss why can't we do self-plagiarism. All right. What about collusion? What is collusion? You guys can Google these words that I talked to you. What is collusion? Guys, do you know the meaning? You can Google it. What is collusion? Collaboration with fellows. All right. So I hear one. It's exactly right. Collaboration not allowed. Right. So, but I just said that we will work in teams. So sometimes we know people, we work with them. We can work with them. We can discuss, clarify concepts. We can collaborate. We can collaborate as much as just to discuss. But when you submit an assignment or a work, that has to be your own. That has to be written by one student, right? So that's again, there are some places where you can work together, some places where you cannot. Here's an example of plagiarism. There's a text in a paper, and I say, can we write it like this? If you see what's written in that red box and what's written in that blue box, is it okay to write it like this? So it just says, it says decay and Higgs, many biosensor and their associated techniques have been studied and developed. Is it okay to write it in my report? Even if I put a citation there?
then again, you'll have to paraphrase what has been written there.
We have to paraphrase, we have to rewrite, or we have to put it in double quote if you want to use it verbatim, right? So these are just a few problems that may come up, right? So we can rewrite, rephrase, and then we have to still put a citation to that. So for this course, again, to stay uniform, we'll use IEEE citation format. You can Google it, you'll find plenty of references of how to do that. Please use that for your reports and your GRP and your homeworks, whatever you do. Here I'm bragging about my papers. I just formatted and give you some examples of journal paper, book, conference paper, whatnot. So where we go to look for this information, there's many publishing houses that have consolidated kind of search engines. There is many and journals that you can search all at once, like IEEE Explore has lots of things. Xavier has Science Direct. There is a whole list of consolidated publishing houses. Librarians, or just go straight to scholar.google.com. All right. So far, so good. Okay. So this is where we have policies for the course. And we will be posting a facts page also, frequently asked questions. And we can send the links to all students. So that's something that for further questions on policies, we can do that. All right, let's get going on the first module, basic concepts of nanotechnology. Now, this is going live, but then there are things we'll talk about, like I'm assigning a paper today. There's plenty of room at the bottom by Richard Feynman. We'll discuss it next week in next lecture. But what we are doing, and let me show that now, we'll be creating a page and we'll be sharing that with the class. Let me just show you what it would look like once you get it. So we'll put the related things that have to go, like I put the link for the Feynman here. So you'll have access to that page to follow up whatever things need to be done for that module that's going on. All right. So that's something which we'll share with the whole class, everybody. So you will be able to view that. We won't be able to edit that, but you'll be able to view that. That will come later on. All right. Okay. So this is a fantastic paper. It's a, once you read it, you will see that, and we'll have some discussion points next week, that he was a visionary who talked about so many things that were almost impossible for somebody to think about at that time. Or some things were happening, but what he, and this was in 1959, but what now we take those things for granted. We don't even think twice about those. But at that time, what he said and what he shared with the rest of the world is truly amazing. So we'll have discussion on that paper next lecture. All right, and homework will also be coming out of that paper, and we'll have specific questions about that next week. Sorry, next week, next lecture. All right, so where did it all start? So we talk about nanotechnology today, and we just use the buzzword, but where did it start, or when did we really start pushing this idea of manipulating things at small scale? 2000, President Clinton from US, he gave what we call today NNI, National Nanotech Initiative. And this was a major science policy rollout in USA. And with that, they rolled out 2.3 billion to cover what he started. But if you look at right-hand side in this graph, and this is from 2003 IEEE Spectrum, and these amounts are in billions. And red is United States, this bluish is Japan, black is Europe, and purple is all others. And you see something amazing that, yeah, US started spending huge amount, and Japan started spending huge amount. By 2002, Japan was almost there, just 100 billion less than them, or 125. And Europe are still way behind. And today, and we'll talk about today, the situation is that major semiconductor manufacturing or major nanotech industry is not in USA. It's not in USA because they saw at that time that whoever invests in this technology would be controlling manufacturing for next century. And think about it. You look at your cell phones, you look at your devices, where are these made up from?
South Korea or China.
You look at your electronics, South Korea, China, Taiwan. We miss Taiwan. And we'll talk about that as well. Now, they started spending and US was spending and Europe is spending, and today there are clear global leaders in nanotech, or what we call semiconductor technology nowadays, because semiconductor is what has driven a lot of equipment development and a lot of technology development that we use in non-device applications, what we would be studying here in Bio-Nano. And that happened because all these countries started investing in that. Oh, this was supposed to become big. Sorry about that. It is. Now, by definition, it is or an object or a device or anything. If it has one nanometer, we call it to belong to nanotech or nanoscale. So at least one size on one dimension, one face, one facade, something has to be less than 100 nanometer. We generally don't hold people accountable to that, but by definition, that's what it's supposed to be. And here I'm talking on this slide about optical lithography. I understand you guys have never probably heard the word before, but we'll be talking a lot about lithography because this is the major building block of how we make computer chips, how we translate a design from a VLSI file onto actual wafer, actual semiconductor wafer, silicon, maybe gallium arsenide, or whatever wafer we are using. And when you talk about lithography, it's a process they use in printing press as well. So if some of you would go to an Arcali or I don't know where they have the major printing press, so lithography is a process that they use to transfer images from these plates onto paper. Anarkali for non-Pakistani Anarkali is an area in Lahore where they have lots of, used to be printing presses there. All right, so this is something which helped us reach 100 nanometer size about 20 years ago by using conventional optical lithography. And here it says 193 nanometer lithography. So that's related to the LEMP wavelengths that were used in those systems. LEMP, right? So light was used to project light. A light source was used to project light of very specific wavelength onto a design mask and transferred onto silicon wafer. We'll use the word silicon, but that would just mean semiconductor material. But silicon is because that's a workhorse, so I use the word silicon to, but that can be any semiconductor material. Now, that happened. We achieved 100 nanometer by conventional systems 20 years ago, and now we are next generation lithography. We are doing many, many more sophisticated things, many smaller things. One of my students, he's in Intel, they're working on 4 nanometer node. 4 nanometer node is where, we'll talk about that, where the half channel length is 4 nanometer, which is probably less than or maybe 2 atoms thick. But that's again driven by lithography systems of how we can translate those designs from a computer file to an actual silicon wafer. But now we are talking about making things small, but nature has always had lots of operations happening at small scale. So when you see a living things, we start going smaller and smaller. Micrometer, we have red blood cells. This is a typo. It should not say mm. It should say micrometer. So and around 10 to 20 millimeter is that fly ash should also be micrometer. Human hair is, it's saying 10 to 50 micrometer wide. This should be micro as a typo. It should not be mm. Now, human hair, it's very interesting. We have a couple of slides after. We'll talk a little bit more about it. From cells, there's operation, right? In living kingdom, in animals, and in plants. And then we get down to smaller organisms. We go down to enzymes. We go down to DNA, 2 nanometer width, right? So that operation is happening in test tubes. But now we have been able to make devices or interfaces which are that small, so we can directly interface those things. If we can interface those things, we can measure them. That's the promise, or that's the beauty of Bio-Nano, that we can make things. On the right hand side, we start with, it says head of a pin, and then there is MEMS devices, which are, again, we'll talk about that in a later lecture, is all of your moving devices, your cell phones, your accelerometers, your GPS, your laptops, everything that has electronics. Most of the time they have some MEMS parts, moving parts in it. Too small, we don't see them moving, but they are there. And then we go down. So this picture, which is called quantum corral of 48 iron atoms of copper, was from IBM. Many years ago, they showed that they could manipulate one single atom one by one using an STM tip. So that happened long time ago. And now we are going to see how we can interface at those lower scales and probably go up in those sizes and those different things. All right, so when we say living things, so everything is made up of atoms and molecules, right? So when atoms and molecules are what we are made up of, they decide and they define what our big world looks like. And that's where the potential of doing something cool comes up for nanobio, right? Just another cartoon to show size and scale as we go down. Now, how small is nano? We say it's, get an idea, it's 1/1000th of a meter. Right now, just understand or just say it's 1/1000th of a meter. We'll see another slide, how small is 1 meter, going from meter to millimeter to centi to micro, and how does it work? And it's 100,000 times smaller than a human hair. So this is an actual SEM picture of human hair. So human hair is probably the smallest thing you can see without using any microscope, right? Smaller than those things, we don't see them. It's hard to see them, or you have to have special conditions or special light or special situation to see those. Now, if you put cubic micron of water, that would have 90 billion atoms. Yeah, right now probably doesn't make any sense, but as we progress, you will be able to relate these numbers and to understand why does it matter. Now, your sheet of paper is about 100,000 nanometer thick. What's 100,000? Lakh? 1 lakh? 1 lakh? So there's so many nanometers in there. Now, how do we go back? This picture on the right-hand side, now we call it 3D printing. Oh, sorry, not 3D printing. 3D printing used to be called stereolithography, where you could make micron scale things using 2 lights and build up. It's the same process, but so your 3D Printing is also not something new. It's been done in labs for a long time, and we have been making things at micro scale for a long time. Now, how small is nano? We'll probably discuss this and wrap up. So we start with 1 meter, we go kilometers, all right, 1,000 meters, and then you keep on adding more. I'm going up here in this from meter. So you can put another 3 zeros, it will become 10 raised to the power 6. We say million meters, you can add another 3 zeros, it would become billion, trillion, so on. But now when you go down, we take a meter and we divide it into, if we divide it into 1,000 parts, let's divide a meter into first 100 parts. So 100 parts is how much? 1 centimeter, right? If you divide it into 1,000 parts, that's millimeter. And we know millimeter on our scale. You can see that. You divide that 1 millimeter further into 1,000 parts, we get what we call micrometer, right? And there, if you think about it, that micrometer, when you say 50 micrometer human hair, we can talk about either micrometer or we can go up in millimeters, right? So we can use both scales. So many times we do that. This chart can help you if somebody jumps from uh, 0.1 millimeter to 100 micrometer, something like that. So we should be comfortable in plugging, going up and down in micro to nano. So we divide a micrometer with another 1,000, and that's what we get, what we call nanometer, right? Some people may get it right away, some people may struggle with it. So hence we have to think about it, that how do we go up and down? But then we go to picometers, femto, atto as well. We don't talk about these things, but when you uh, talk to a physicist, theoretical physicist, they may talk about these numbers to you, right? Because they're talking about subatomic particles and all that things that Dr. Abdus Salam was talking many years ago. All right, so just take a ruler and this should help us break it down even further, that 1 centimeter and then 1 yard and all that. There's a coin shown here, which is American coin, but you should get the idea. I don't know what's the smallest coin in different countries. We have Pakistan. What's the smallest coin you got?
Sir, rupee 1 coin.
What is the smallest? One rupee.
Yes, sir,
Right?
1 rupee coin.
1 rupee. What's the smallest coin in Turkey? Someone from Turkey.
Sir, that's 1 lira perhaps.
I didn't get that. You can type what's the smallest coin in Turkey.
Lira, sir.
We have
Am I audible, sir?
smallest coin in Turkey.
I'm audible, sir.
Can you type the, what do you call it?
Lira, sir.
Lira. But I'm asking about what's the smallest coin? Is it 10 lira, 5 lira, half lira?
1
Lira is
lira,
the
I guess.
currency. I was talking about the size of the coin. But anyway, all right. So let's stop here. Any questions?
It's 26.15 millimeter.
And its thickness is 1.5 millimeter.
1.5 millimeter.
Yeah, 1.9
1.5 centimeter.
millimeter.
1.95 millimeter.
1.95 millimeter. And what is the coin?
1 lira.
1 lira. Okay. All right. So that's the kind of dimensions that we use. All right, Heather, question.
Sir, can you repeat what lithography is, please?
We'll talk about that. We'll have a few lectures on that.
All
Right?
right.
We'll
Sir,
discuss lithography in detail.
this is more of a request, but is it possible for you to revise the grading cutoffs? It feels like it's a little too high.
Oh, grading for, we can talk about it. Okay, send us an email and we can discuss this in office hours. All right?
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, yeah. We can discuss grading policies because I have to learn what's normal at LUMS to make sure that we don't fall too far away from that. All right? All right, questions?
May I ask one question, sir?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Sheikh.
Yes,
Sheikh.
sir, I just have a question. Yes, sir. Sir, I'm actually taking this course to fulfill one of my grad requirements. Do you think this course
You're cutting. Can you type?